Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. We get a lot of questions. You know, a lot of people are concerned with what's coming down the pipe. And there is scary things coming down the pipe. And it can be anywhere from the political mess we're in to international conflicts over with Russia and Ukraine. Just the public service announcement in New York City had people a little bit rattled and asking questions. The food shortages, farmers, drought, you can go on and on. There's enough bad news that you can pick your flavor of the day and dwell upon it. And I want you to be informed, but you got to do something about it. And a lot of people are asking me, Dave, what are you doing? How many months are you preparing for? In the past, for thousands of videos I've told you, have showed you, but a lot of people now are new to this channel, so they don't know all the past history. There's been a lot of subscribers that have been with me for years, and I appreciate you, and I also appreciate the new people. They're just looking for answers, like everyone. I'm looking for answers, trying to figure out, but I will tell you, we prepare so we don't worry. Now, I understand why people are sending me emails and sending me stuff, because they're not prepared. They're absolutely not prepared. And they're scared, and totally understand that. So I have to put myself in your shoes of not being prepared. I've been a prepper a long time. You know, most of you knew me before Doomsday Preppers. Before I was on the show, the pilot, and then for the first 2 years, I was the actual judge, the evaluator for the show Doomsday Preppers. So I have a lot of experience. I have a military background, a firefighting background, search and rescue background. Overall, I've done a lot in life. All of the things I've done in life has led me to be a hardcore prepper. I've been overseas and I've seen people starving to death. I've seen people fight over my trash, fight, sticks. If they had guns, they would have probably shot each other over my trash. I've seen it and broke my heart, physically brought me to tears a few occasions, because I would see small children the same age of kids I knew back in the States, or small like my children, fighting over a bag of trash. So I don't want to be there. I've seen kids just begging for food. I've been ordered official orders not to release any of our food because our unit didn't have much food, and it was like, you're not getting resupplied. I've seen them, and I had to be in that position of, oh man, what am I gonna do? So I disobeyed orders. I would not eat as much for that day, and I gave my food away. Did I do wrong? Yeah, I probably did, but I was trying to answer to a more higher purpose and a moral cause that was higher than an order, don't give food away. I didn't take food from the United States government or the Army. I used my food and gave it away. So I have seen starvation. So I don't want to ever be in that position. I don't want, before it was a motivating factor, my children not to be in it. Now they're growing. I have grandchildren, and they will never be in that position if I can help it. So people ask me, Dave, what are you doing? How much are you preparing for? I'm preparing for a total economic collapse. I'm preparing for a total breakdown of society, law and order, and that I will have to provide everything to sustain life for me and my family, friends, my tribe, my clan, my group, whatever you want to call it, my neighborhood. You know, first priority is my family, and then I will do what I can. But what's coming is going to be terrible. No one knows when it's going to come. People are always saying, Dave, look at all these things in the Bible, famine. Yes, all those things are going to occur. We could just go into a famine. It doesn't have to be the end of the world, as some people say, the rapture's coming. I have no idea when the rapture's coming. If you're a Christian, no idea. But I'm just going to keep praying and planning and preparing for what could come. And we are closer now to a societal collapse and an economic collapse than ever. It is being set up for us. And I will answer the question, Dave, are they doing this on purpose? Yes, they're doing it on purpose. You can't make a system crash like it's crashing without planning it. It is a crash. It is a deliberate destroying of all the infrastructure, all of the moral fibers, all the support structures. They've destroyed the family. They've destroyed communities. They're economically destroying everything. Everything's being destroyed. So yes, it is a plan. I don't dwell on the plan as much because, you know what, I need to spend every effort either trying to get people to prepare or to increase my plan. So getting back to your question, how much are you preparing for? I will say I'm preparing for years. I'm preparing for a system crash that will never come back. So yes, you need to stockpile as much as you can, but eventually your stockpile will run out. Eventually you will not have any more beanie weenies on the shelf. So immediately my plan is to resupply, and that includes getting a dairy cow. That's because we got a pig and we're going to hopefully breed her. We got turkeys, we got rabbits, we got chickens. We're trying to develop something. Now, can I devote all my time now to that? No. I devote the majority of my time is to YouTube, and it's to you guys and gals, talking to you on the phone, emailing you, just trying to help you and encourage you to keep prepping. But what I'm doing is trying to put the infrastructure in place so I can fire up everything I have and do a lot more production. So my plan is to be self-sufficient. Now, if I have to implement that plan of being self-sufficient and there is no food and no supplies, there's going to be a huge security threat. So am I making plans? I am making plans. If I have to relocate, very much so. Multiple places I can go to, multiple places that people have my back, and in return I have their back if they need to leave their location. But I could see if things get as bad as some people think they will, and they will. I just don't know the time clock. I don't know when it will happen. You will need a group of people to survive. So you need to build that now. If you can't build it now, you'll have to build it later when things are falling apart. It can still be done. It's not as easy, and you could be definitely taken advantage of in that time period. So build your support structure now. Do the best you can. So I am preparing for the basics for years, and immediately, if I have to, I will fire up the resupply plan. Now, if something happens during, right after you're supposed to plant your crops, or in the fall, for me, I could plant a fall garden. My father plants a huge fall garden. He produces lots of greens all the way into winter, because I live in the south. If you're up north, you need to have a little extra, because you might not have a growing season for a long time, and which will be fine. You can live off your stored food. But if you got 4, 5, 6 months that you can't do anything, you're eating everything you got, so you got to have more stored up. I've been preaching this for 12 years on YouTube. Rice and beans were so cheap. The Mormon cannery, they were giving that stuff away 6, 7 years ago. It was so cheap. But you probably are starting now. If you're a new viewer, you still have to do it. It'll cost you more, that's for sure, but you have to stock up. So you have to answer the question, do I think it's going to be very, very bad, or just bad? And the only one that can answer is that it's you, how much you want to put back. For me it's years. For me, it's a resupply plan forever, to make sure I have a group of people that can supply what I need for my family, and we can trade, we can barter. But when you go down that path of thinking that, you better think security. There won't be a 911. Your security plan better be really elevated. You better be willing to move, and it's not like double up or triple up at someone's place. You better have a community where you can raise 100 armed men to protect your community. Just go back in history, go back in time. How did they secure things? So to answer the question, I'm doing years, and a lot of that involves around basics. It involves around grain, oats for oatmeal. It does revolve a lot about rice. A lot of sugar and honey can be stored now. It's relatively cheap. So the basics get stored. It will be a lot of things we can grow. So if we can grow the vegetables, I store some of those in dehydrated forms in number 10 cans to get me through. But you're going to go back to canning. You're going to go back to drying. You better go back to having protein. And that will involve animals, chickens and ducks and turkeys. Yes, you can harvest deer and other things in the wild, but eventually they'll be totally decimated because there'll be no hunting season, and everyone and their brother will be shooting it out of season. Doesn't matter if it's, you know, a doe or a buck, it's supper to them. So to answer the question, multiple years I'm preparing. It gives me a sense of peace when you know, hey, I've done what I can put back. I've spread out what I have, so it's not all my eggs in one basket. You ask me a lot of times, Dave, how much should I stock? The answer to that question is what makes you sleep at night. When you put your head on your pillow, are you saying, man, I don't got enough food? Or, you know what, I feel I have enough. I feel that God told me to store this much and I'm storing that. So you answered that question. First of all, it's not going to be any cheaper in a year. It's going to be more expensive. It might not even be available. So if you have extra cash, look into storing. I totally recommend a 1 year supply of every canned good you use. And if you can afford it, go with 2 years. 2.5 years. You're not going to waste anything because you're going to cycle that through your normal eating, and you're going to be set. And when your head hits the pillow at night, you say, you know what, I've done everything. I'm not trusting in just my preps. I'm trusting in the Lord. I'm trusting that God will protect me and my family, and I'm doing everything I can. And when your head hits the pillow and you say, I feel comfortable, that's how much you need. Thanks for watching.